Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Media Pulse, the show where we help you make sense of Thai politics. And it seems like we have a lot to unpack this week.
Definitely. So the biggest political exercise of the year to date is over. The much anticipated no confidence debate turned out to be a smooth sailing for Prime Minister Paetongtarn, despite being subjected to numerous attacks and accusations. The young Prime Minister emerged from the 2 days of intense grilling almost unscathed, I would say.
The overwhelming votes of confidence she received from the members of the House that it means that her job running the country will be safe at least in the foreseeable future. I guess there were at least 3 questions that political enthusiasts were asking as the much anticipated censure debate approached this week. So, number 1, firstly, would the opposition bloc led by the People's Party have a knockout punch that would bring her down?
And the second question was, would there be some dissenting voices in the government camp when it came to the vote? And then the third question was, how would Paetongtarn handle her biggest political challenge given her lack of political experience?
So I guess the answer to the first question is yes. The opposition did throw a lot of punches at the Prime Minister, yet none was close to being a knockout. And the second question were there any dissenting votes among the government parties? The answer is the result of the vote only demonstrates that the coalition under Paetongtarn is united as ever. Every single MP of the coalition parties toed the line to give her a vote of confidence.
On the contrary, adding insult to the injury for the opposition, 7 MPs of the opposition parties broke ranks and voted in Paetongtarn's favor. And the third question was, did Paetongtarn measure up to her first major political test?
The answer is, well, she didn't do a bad job. Not outstanding, but enough for her to get supporters to give her credit.
No, Deputy Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul of Phumthai Thai Party, a major coalition partner, even gave her a thumbs up during a press conference with the Prime Minister following the no confidence vote. That Paetongtarn would survive the censure debate was never a question, Clare. Her Pheu Thai Party and its coalition partners command an overwhelming majority in the House. And there were no reasons for any of the coalition partners to rock the boat at the moment.
Yeah. In the censure debate, Paetongtarn was accused by the opposition of poor leadership and failing to solve the country's economic problems. Now, the most serious charge was that she was only a puppet prime minister and allowed herself to be influenced by her father, Thaksin in her decision making.
Now let's revisit some of the main charges that the opposition raised against Paetongtarn during the 2 days of the censure debate. In a salvo by one of the most prominent MPs of the People's Party, Kun Virod Lakhana Adisorn, Paetongtarn was labeled a tax dodger.
Yeah, he accused the Prime Minister of exploiting a legal loophole to evade paying tax for the transfer of huge chunks of shares to her mother and sister upon taking office as Prime Minister last year. Yeah, she did so by having the recipients issue so-called demand promissory notes, or PN, instead of paying in cash. So a demand promissory note is a loan agreement where the borrower promises to repay the debt to the lender upon demand. That means income tax will not have to be paid as long as no payment is made.
Now, besides, the promissory notes used in the transaction are not interest-bearing, meaning that the borrower is only obligated to repay the principal amount without any additional interest. So Kun Virod described the deals as concealed legal transactions to evade taxes. And as Prime Minister, she has set a very bad example for the Thai people. that was คุณ Viro's accusation.
As a strong accusation. So, when Paetongtarn responded, she said the use of promissory notes is common business transaction and insisted that there was intention for payments to be made for the transactions in question next year.
So what did the people at the Revenue Department have to say about this? Officials of the department also confirmed that Paetongtarn's use of promissory notes in the share transaction did not constitute tax evasion. However, the People's Party has made it clear that it will urge relevant government agencies to investigate whether she attempted to evade taxes or not. So that means that more action will be taken after the no confidence vote ended.
And apart from the tax issue, the country's current economic doldrums was also one of the issues raised by the opposition. Kun Sirikanya Tansakun, a deputy leader of the People's Party, doubled down on the Paetongtarn government for its dismal performance in dealing with economic problems. She said, "What is unforgivable is that you have failed so miserably that many people are asking for a return of General Prayut Chan-o-cha."
Now, if you have visited the social media recently, you can see that it has been flooded with videos, clips glorifying Gen Prayut's time in power and calling for his return.
The music was quite catchy, actually. Remember the song Missing Uncle Tu, which refers to General Prayut. Yes, Sirakanya said that Paetongtarn government's much publicized digital wallet scheme was a flop and it had no plans whatsoever to revive the country's economy.
Of course, as expected, one highlight of the debate was the issue related to the recent repatriation of 40 Uyghurs to China in early March. Kanawi Sipsang of the Fair Party, one of the opposition parties, accused the Paetongtarn government of a serious breach of human rights by sending back these Uyghurs. He said the government has been reluctant to show proof that the repatriation was voluntary and that these people would not be mistreated once they are back in China. He said the repatriation has seriously undermined Thailand's image in the eyes of the international community. The government claims it doesn't choose sides in international conflicts, but it has already chosen side and chosen the wrong one. And that's why Thailand is facing pressure from the international community. Kun Kanavi said, referring to the visa ban the US has threatened to impose on Thai officials and condemnation from the European Union.
Yeah, he also accused the Paetongtarn government of playing along with China in a PR stunt to show that the repatriated Uyghurs have been well treated. Remember, Deputy Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai led a delegation along with some journalists from Thailand to visit Xinjiang Autonomous Region in China. That was about 2 weeks ago, and they observed the well-being of the Uyghurs. And he was speaking in defense of the repatriation during the debate. Phumtham accused Kanawi of spreading falsehood to discredit the country. He insisted that judging from his conversations and interactions with the families of the Uyghurs, he was certain that the returnees were happy to be back home. And he also said, China is a superpower and has excellent relations with Thailand. And if Chinese leaders give their words, what would be the reason not to believe them? That's what he said, referring to the assurances given by the Chinese government about the Uyghurs.
And also, as expected, the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawat's VIP treatment while recuperating at the British hospital since his return from self-exile in August 2023 was another highlight of the opposition's attacks on the Paetongtarn
this one's
government.
juicy.
Right. Rangsiman Rome, a deputy leader of the People's Party, spent over 90 minutes detailing what was described as the Pheu Thai Party's pact with the devil, which allegedly facilitated Thaksin's return from self-exile and paved the way for his daughters, Kun Paetongtarn, rise to power.
Yeah, he recounted a series of episodes from the moment Thaksin set foot in the country to his admittance to the police hospital and the subsequent royal pardon he received. But political analysts concur that Rangsiman offered no new insights on the issue, which was already widely known. His intention, however, was to link Paetongtarn to all the alleged behind-the-scenes arrangements for Thaksin's return and his subsequent political rehabilitation.
โดยคุณรังสิมันต์โรม claimed that the whole affair was part of the deal that he described as a pact with the devil in exchange for Thepchai party to form a government with political parties affiliated with remnants of the military dictatorship that was in power following the coup in 2014. Now, in short, Rangsiman suggested that the pact required the Thepchai party to yield to the old power clique, with Paetongtarn playing a key role as a collaborator. Very serious accusation against the Prime Minister.
I know, and Rangsiman pointed out that despite his conviction on corruption charges, Thaksin never spent a single day behind bars. On the same day that Thaksin returned from self-exile, as we remember, he was brought to the Bangkok remand prison and then was rushed to the police hospital after claiming sudden serious illnesses. Thaksin spent 6 months supposedly recuperating at the hospital before he was granted a royal pardon and released on parole.
Now, Rangsiman accused Paetongtarn, who was then already leader of Thepchai party, of working in cahoots with those in power and officials involved to give Thaksin the special treatment at the hospital. During his recuperation, Thaksin stayed on floor 14 of the police hospital, which is normally reserved for VIP patients. So Thaksin was practically being treated as a VIP patient, according to the Kun Rangsiman Rome and according to common knowledge now.
Yeah, Rangsiman raised doubts whether Thaksin was seriously ill, as he claimed to be, and he pointed out that up to now, the medical records to confirm Thaksin's illnesses have not been released. We have the National Counter-Corruption Commission and the Medical Council that launched separate investigations into the scandal and have yet to come up with a ruling.
So we just want to make sure that that is on the record that there is investigation, official one, going on into whether or not Thaksin was given a VIP treatment at the hospital. And in her response to the charges, Prime Minister Paetongtarn said Thaksin's return to Thailand and his subsequent VIP treatment at the police hospital all took place while she was only the leader of Thepchai party and not yet Prime Minister. And she insisted that she had no influence whatsoever over what happened with Kun Thaksin.
So a party leader is not influential enough?
No.
No.
That's what she was trying to suggest.
So Thaksin returns took place during the final days of the government of Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, as we remember. The uproar over Thaksin's special treatment at the police hospital intensified during the successive short-lived government of Prime Minister Thepchai. And Paetongtarn insisted that she had never interfered with the work of any government agencies dealing with her father's return and treatment at the police hospital.
Why he repeatedly used the phrase pact with the devil during his presentation, Rangsiman Rome never came close to revealing who the devil was, despite insistence from several government MPs that he do so.
So at the end of the day, the opposition bloc still left everyone wondering who the devil actually was.
All right, so that is one of the unanswered questions
A very powerful devil.
during the debate. So Paetongtarn's leadership, or the lack of it, also came under heavy scrutiny.
Ms. Patchimanon Nun Anand, a former journalist and a party list MP of the People's Party, said the young Prime Minister is not equipped to deal with the hordes of problems facing the country. This is what she said. She said Paetongtarn is void of knowledge, vision, and leadership in dealing with the economic problems, corruption, even PM 2.5 air pollution, and rampant crime, which are among major issues facing the country.
That's right. Patchimanon also focused her attack on Paetongtarn for what she said is a poor communication skills, even on basic issues. Patchimanon said Paetongtarn not only fails to inspire people in the country, but has been unable to offer visions that would attract foreign investors.
There's also a quote from her. She said, "You don't even know that as Prime Minister, you have the obligation to build confidence in the country."
Now, Patchimanon also said Paetongtarn's obsession with promoting Thailand's soft power has not borne fruit because she doesn't have any strategy. You are Prime Minister, not an influencer, Patchimanon said, referring to Paetongtarn's penchant for dressing up in Thai-style fabrics and posting pictures of herself in those costumes on social media. She also took issue with what she described as Paetongtarn's lack of maturity when the latter complained of being a victim of a telecom scam herself. People don't want to hear whether you are scammed. They want to know how you will deal with the problem.
Yeah, she was also referring to an incident in which Paetongtarn admitted that she was nearly duped by a scam caller who used AI voice cloning to impersonate a country leader. And on top of that, Paetongtarn also faced charges that a hotel her Shinawat family owns at Khao Yai, Nakhon Ratchasima, encroached on watershed areas. We have Kun Thepchai Panumat of the People's Party who questioned how land title deeds could be issued for the land which cannot be used for commercial purposes. However, the Prime Minister insisted that her family obtained the land title deed through legal proper channels.
And responding to the opposition MP's demand for her ouster as Prime Minister, Paetongtarn had this to say: "You can ask me to resign as Prime Minister, but I can never resign as my father's daughter and as the mother of my children."
How's that relevant?
And this has become one of the most quoted statements from her from the whole debate.
But you know what? Her remarks drew kudos from those in Pheu Thai Party and her supporters on social media. But they were seen by critics as part of the scripted responses to divert attention from the real issues.
Now, some political analysts observed that Paetongtarn largely avoided addressing the criticisms against her during the debate. However, she chose to counter her critics with witty and occasionally sarcastic rebuttals instead.
There's a comment. It says, "How she reacted reflects her personality, but it can also be seen as part of the attempts to make her appeal to the younger generation audiences who are an important constituency in the next general elections." This is the view of a well-known political scientist, Thanaporn Shiyakul. In recent interview, Paetongtarn described herself as a Gen Y Prime Minister, distinguishing herself from previous older leaders in both personality and government style.
Now, the Thai media and some political analysts appear to agree that if the two-day censure debate revealed anything significant, it was the remarks of a first-time MP from the People's Party who exposed what he called Thailand's version of the deep state.
Yeah.
For nearly 100 minutes.
Yeah.
The spotlight in the chamber was on Kun Chayapon Satondi, who eloquently outlining details of how military and security units allegedly use information warfare against individuals and organizations accused of harboring anti-establishment views.
Chayapon said Prime Minister Paetongtarn has turned a blind eye on those covert activities as part of the pact with the devil. Again, this is the catchphrase the People's Party has been using to describe the political arrangement that Paetongtarn and her father Thaksin Shinawat made with the old power clique that still wields political influence. Chayapon claimed that the alleged information warfare has been waged in concert by various military and security agencies through their cyber team to sow discord and undermine the democratic system.
Note the According to Kun Chayapon, the main objective of the whole operation is to discredit and shame individuals and organizations considered to be a threat to the monarchy and the military. He said the operation was carried out through phishing, spam, and brute force attacks, which involved hacking into social media accounts of the targets. Spreading false information against these targets has also been a common practice by these so-called cyber teams.
He also named several people, including many prominent political figures, academics, and human rights activists, as being among those classified as high-value targets.
Wow.
He claimed that even Prime Minister Paetongtarn and her father Thaksin are also among them.
Now, Chayapon, who is a former commercial pilot before entering politics, is a member and a spokesperson of the Standing Committee on Military Affairs of the House of Representatives. He first gained media attention with his inquiry into military budget during the House debate on the national budget last year.
In the censure debate, Chayapon blasted Paetongtarn for her failure to live up to her Thepchai party's campaign pledge to reform the military. On the contrary, as Prime Minister, she allows the military to become a deep state beyond civilian control.
Now, we have been hearing the term deep state frequently in the US politics, right?
Yes.
It generally refers to a group of individuals who are often influential members of government agencies or the military, believed to secretly manipulate or control government policies. And in Chayapon's definition, Thailand's version of the deep state refers to the realm of power of the military from which civilian government is completely excluded.
Yeah, their ability to wage the information warfare or information operation against members of the society is a confirmation of their dominance over the civilian government, he said. The People's Party, which was then known as the Move Forward Party, first raised the issue of cyber warfare by the military and security against civilian targets during the time of Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha.
Now, we thought that with Prayut gone, this thing would have disappeared. But by making a pact with the devil, Paetongtarn has given it a new lease of life. I mean, according to Chayapon, once again referring to the political deal that brought Thepchai party and Paetongtarn to power. It was obvious that the Paetongtarn government and Kun Paetongtarn, the Prime Minister herself, were caught off guard by Kun Chayapon's remarks, right? And Kun Paetongtarn did not respond to what was said by Kun Chayapon.
So all eyes were on the Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Phumtham Wechayachai, who only said that the government does not sanction any cyber warfare as alleged by Kun Chayapon. However, he promised to look into the allegations.
There was an uproar during the Kun Chayapon's debate. He was interrupted multiple times by MPs of the government camps when he accused the military of using the need to protect the monarchy as a pretext to act against political opponents.
Yes, even Deputy House Speaker Kun Pichet Chermongpan, who was chairing the session, personally intervened on at least 3 occasions to ask Chayapon to stop referring to the monarchy as well. So after all this drama in the past week, the question is, what's next? What are we seeing next in Thai politics now that Paetongtarn has survived the no confidence vote? And there has been speculation that a limited cabinet reshuffle is on the cards. It has been customary for a cabinet reshuffle to take place in the aftermath of a no confidence debate.
But Prime Minister Paetongtarn said after the vote that she had no plans to reshuffle the cabinet for the time being. But political analysts said that is very doubtful whether Kun Paetongtarn really has the final say on this matter.
Again, her father Thaksin has been chastising some unnamed cabinet members for their lackluster performance. And this has been taken by the media and political analysts as a signal that a cabinet reshuffle should be around the corner.
No, but if you have listened carefully to the 2 days of debate, there shouldn't be any doubts as to who has the last words in Thai party. And of course, including whether or not there will be a cabinet reshuffle. Let's not forget that Thaksin himself has openly admitted in his own words that he makes it his business to meddle in everything.
สทร
Sotara, that's in Thai.
Thai, yeah.
Sotara is the poking, meant to straight translation is a poking nose into other people's business.
Everything.
In every business of other people.
Well, despite the speculation of a limited cabinet reshuffle, the fact that every MP from the coalition parties voted in favour of the PM shows that Paetongtarn's position remains, well, very solid for now. And this time, add to that 7 more MPs from the opposition who voted against the motion. This undoubtedly gives Paetongtarn's government an extra bonus. But before we get into the details of the bonus points that she got, let's talk about the motion itself, because it can be confusing. The term no confidence vote means if you vote for the motion, you are not confident, you don't trust the Prime Minister.
You would be voting against her.
Yeah, but if you vote against the motion, it means you support her.
That's right. a bit confusing. So even the House Speaker himself takes several minutes to explain to the House members that this is the rule.
They had to make sure that they voted.
If you vote in favor of the no confidence motion, that means that you will be voting against the Prime Minister.
Yep. Okay, anyway, voting results were 319 against the motion and 162 for, with 7 abstentions. So 312 from the government coalition, and then there was 7 from the opposition. So who are these 7 MPs and why do they vote out of their party line? In Thai politics, there is a specific term for people who switch sides. And this is ngu hao or cobra. So I'm going to explain it briefly. It originates from an old folk tale about a cobra that was rescued by a farmer but ended up biting its owner in the end, and the owner died.
No, prior to the no confidence motion, there was already speculation that there would be some cobras rearing their ugly heads after the no confidence motion, meaning that there could be certain numbers of government MPs who would switch camps by voting against the Prime Minister, not switch camp in the sense of moving away from the party that they are members of, right?
Yeah.
But switch camp in the sense of voting against the Prime Minister.
Yes. So many people find it strange, puzzling with this change of heart. But one possible explanation could be a series of private messages revealed by Grit Silapachai, an MP of People's Party. He claimed that he was offered big financial rewards in exchange for his vote in support of the Prime Minister. So on Wednesday, the story goes, he posted on social media that I was offered to become a Cobra on the eve of the no confidence vote. He wrote that he was contacted through line chat on Tuesday, and that was while he was in the chamber during the censure debate. That person, who he calls A, later called him on the phone. And Mr. A, who seemed to be acting as a middleman, initially offered him 10 million baht in exchange for Grit's vote in support of the PM. Then A called back, raising the offer to 15 million baht.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And then the next day, he was offered 20 million for the vote, plus another 5 million. It sounds like a sales package or something. So, plus another 5 million if he switched party. But if he can get 10 MPs to join, they can offer a position. We don't know which position, could be a ministerial position or we don't know, plus a monthly salary of 250,000 baht.
Now, if the accusation is true, it would be very blatant for anyone to try to attempt this kind of open bribery. But obviously, it didn't work out.
No, it's still very doubtful because even Kun Wirod Lakana Adison, a People's Party MP, said that this is a very sensitive issue and he believes that the leaked chats are authentic, but he would like to investigate further before drawing any conclusions.
Right.
And we have a quote, a response from Prime Minister Paetongtarn as well.
What does she have to say about this?
Well, she said, I would like to know if the chat is authentic or not. There were no payments whatsoever. The government has more than enough MPs. If I were to buy any more MPs, it would be a waste of money. This is common sense. Why would we buy more MPs?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because she was saying that it doesn't make sense to spend money on things that were not needed in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Because a coalition government commands absolute majority in the House of Representatives. So there was no need for her or anyone else in the government to try to buy more votes to support her in the vote.
But I'm going to end this with a hypothetical question. So let's say there's an MP from a small party with not much chance of getting re-elected in the next general elections. So would this person take the money now or leave it to fate?
So that would constitute another pact with the devil.
Yeah.
But in a different context.
Yeah, and I guess this is where we end the program. We hope you find it useful and enjoyable. We'll see you the week after. Next week we're not here.
Okay, all right. See you then.
Thank you for watching. Bye.